Fishery. Apparently, my phone decided we're going live right now. Well, that's just fine because, oh, I forgot my sody pop. That's not just fine. I need my sody pop. How are we doing though tonight? We doing good? Looking good? Feeling good? Is that looking good, Lewis? Feeling good, Lewis? Or Ray? I think it's Ray. If you recall the lovely comedy of the 80s, Trading Places. What is going on, my friends? I don't know. Did you guys see a thumbnail when you clicked this live stream? Did it show all the really cool did it show all the beautiful new three stripe uh, pencil fish? Because they're pretty cool. Where is our song? Ah, D Rock, you're totally right. Let's see here. What's a nice song for the evening? Um, I had a song that I was singing earlier today that was a Christmas song, and I totally forget what it was called. Why YouTube always asks me to swipe up or to go to the next stream. Sorry. Yeah, to like you have to double tap, and everyone doesn't do it anymore. That's a frustrating update, right? Aloha, what's up? Linda, what is going on? Nancy B in Tennessee. Channy UK, what's up? You got your notification for live finally. All right. Yeah. Glad you're here with us. Guys, check out this hat I stole from my wife. It's quite the fashion statement. It says, I want to be seen. Um, so, how are we doing, everybody? We doing good? We feeling good? We have a good Christmas? We want to get some more Christmas gifts and presents going tonight because I think we may just have one in a little while. But I do have something else I want to show you. Hey, it's Michelle from Alexandria, Louisiana. What's going on? That Alexander the Great. He named a lot of places Alexandria, or Altown, Avil. I think there's a lot of those in Egypt, and India and Turkey. So yeah. So how was everyone's Christmas? Anybody get any fishy stuff for Christmas? Any live critters or like gift cards to go get live critters? That's always a nice one, right? That's one of my favorites. You want some fake Yeezy shoes? Nah, that's okay. Mm. Let me show you the state of my shoes. The state of my shoes is very, very worn. Uh, I mean, those are my like house slippers, but they end up being my go to the store and grab something like milk slippers. You got carp pox. I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad. And like maybe you should be less intimate with the fish. Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know how you get it. You get it from like swimming with the fishes. 15 rummy nose tetras for Christmas. I'm assuming, or rasboras, but I'm assuming tetras. Go with your 15 praycocks or the little neon mini dwarf rainbow fish. Right on. You got a Bass Pro Shop gift cards. That'll do. That'll do. You can go out and catch some real fish, some wild fish. Ryan Massey, what's going on? Good to see you. And Channy got Oh, okay. You got the tetras that are the rummy nose. Right on. There's actually three species of rummy nose tetra. There's the Blair Eye, and then there's the brilliant one, and then there's the flagtail one, I think, too. They basically have different tails, and then one is more of like a platinum-y color, but they're actually different species too. Uh, got your son the Magikarp Lego set. That's from Pokemon, right? Yeah, I think, or Roblox or something. I don't know. Just bought just bought a turtle bone, cuddle bone, as a Xmas gift for my snails and shrimp. Hope they like it. Oh, okay, yeah. Cuttlebone, nice. Like for birds to chew on. Those things are like pure KH. If you ever need to increase KH in a natural way, there you go. That will do it. That'll do it, pig. That'll do, pig. That'll do. So, I want to give a shout out to one of y'all out there in TV land, in viewer world, and it is it is Outside in Aquatics, who has a channel, by the way, but he's been using his creativity along with AI to make these little like they're similar to Garbage Pail Kids cards, and I haven't opened them yet. They'll probably be a collector's thing at some point. Robert Bennett, what's going on? Hey, Robert. Anthony Sands, what's going on? I'm doing well tonight. I am. I've got about an hour to stream, and then I got to spend some time with the lovely wife, milady. But yeah, so here are the cards. This is series 2. I'm just gonna open them in random orders. But we've got Fish Room Punks is the name of the series. They're probably backwards to you guys. I wish. Let's see. If I do this, hold on. If I did that, no. What if I do this? Yeah, there we go. That'll work. You can see my dirty calloused hands too. Redneck Aquatics, what's going on? Andrew, what's going on? So we got the Serene Scene Stefan, or the hipster guy in the hobby. They kind of Oliver Knott, I guess, but with more of a hipster vibe. Then we've got the Alabama Bass Productions kind of thing, or maybe this is the channel Clout Charlie, which is great because it's his channel, but I also think of like channel catfish, and it's like catching stuff in like saying you're in the sewer. Oh, look what I caught, and yeah. I just think that's funny because there's so many channels out there, including Bass Productions, and I don't want to lay into a kid. I mean, he's got like 6 million subscribers, so maybe I don't care. But the dude just puts like mormyrids and like absurdly rare and unusual fish in Florida sewers and stuff, and it's yeah, and these are stickers, so that's cool. Um, I don't know what that means. Oh, fingers. You know, what I see here though is Skipper's Aquatics, and that's funny because I made that logo. So that fish, which is also over on my refrigerator, the art to that is literally right there. Uh, watch your fingers. Yeah. Uh, That's funny. It's funny how when you see your own work getting around and you don't know about it or anything and you just encounter it in the wild, how other people have like interpreted it. All right, so then we got Nervous Newbie Nick, which that's pretty funny. Whatever style they're using in AI to illustrate this is like where AI shines in that like well one whatever AI they're using it actually is getting the fingers correct, which is funny. Yeah, and then we've got this one, Tag Along Tiffany, or the ubiquitous wife. It kind of looks like Rachel from Friends, doesn't it? uh Ubiquitous wife hanging out at the fish store, or husband, but it's usually the wife I see. It's like, let's go, come on, we've been here forever. And then we've got the Pleco Picker Perry, and I don't know really, I don't know what this is going for other than just those Pleco obsessed folks. Uh, but I like the tanks in the background. And then I like this one here. We got the Pumped Polly's Predators, or obviously the monster fish, or predatory fins. But this is what Joey wishes he looked like, clearly. And let's see, we got, oh wow, there's quite a few cards in here. Then we got the Tank Tyrant Tim, or the guy who is basically judging everyone else, and his own tank is all messy and mucky. So that's kind of funny. And then we've got wild caught willow, or people going out to catch the native fish. Usually they do have really good gear, like really good waders or gaiters on, and like, all the high tech stuff. She's holding a magnifying glass, but it'd be better if it was like a UV pen or something. But I love that. What's going on, Fish Tropic Canada? All right, then we got Monster Fish Marty, which I can only I can only guess that this is the actual kind of take the take he had on the fish. What's it called? The fish Ohio Fish Rescue. That one. He doesn't have long hair quite, but yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, but someone with a bunch of monster-sized fish, but they seem to be in tanks that are like okay. And then we're back to the beginning of that pack, which was Serene Stefan. Robert Bennett, you can definitely catch a rerun tonight if you want, but we just are going through real quick. I just got these cards from Outside In Aquatics, and he's selling them on his site, I believe. He's got a YouTube channel as well. Let me shake them to the bottom. But it's cool how they open just like this. And there's actually here, I'll put this up for people who want to go there later. You can scan this QR code later if you want at the 12-minute mark on the dot. Yeah, and this is the stickers. Like these are cards, but they're all stickers too. I don't know if maybe there's also just cards and just stickers. But here comes another set. We'll go through these a little quicker. But Sunny streams a lot, which that's funny. That's the person who's chronically online or mortally, fatally online. Then we've got Frantic Filter Freddy, or the guy who's trying to get his aquarium clean, 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 clean. I don't want a spot of dirt or algae or anything in my aquarium. Nothing. Then we've got Natural Nurture Nathan, which is this one's kind of funny because he's got like dirt all over him and stuff. But usually these nature aquarists are very tidy. They're closer to the outdoors people usually, in my estimation. I mean, look who's talking. Look at my hands. I've been playing in the tanks all day. But yeah. Okay, then we have the chem collector Chris, or the people who are always trying out the new chemicals and don't really care what the outcome is. Now, he may have another finger hiding behind that bottle, but it looks like he may have four fingers. We may have an AI slip up. Uh, then we've got Betsy Bettables, or the gals who like mystery snails and bettas and nothing else. That is a demographic I definitely know exists, just like people who love their goldfish and nothing else. Uh, I guess I might be like a nanofish lover. I mean, I love other stuff, but I don't really keep other stuff. And then we got our armchair biologist, Ben. This one's good. Yeah, the chemicals took his fingers. He may only have three fingers as well, and thumb, so four fingers. And this one, wait, I don't know why the fish are flying out. Maybe that's because it's trying to show him, being lazy and not paying attention to his tank. His coffee cup is also floating in midair, so the AI may have failed him a little bit there. Slimy Susie Slithers. Now, okay, I don't really know for sure who this is, but it might be the mystery snail gals out there, the ones that just have all snails and they're like really worried. And they message me like, my bladder snail hasn't moved in 6 hours. What should I do? No shade on them, but just chill. It'll be okay. Overtly overstock Oscar. And that's the dude who's always got too many fish in his tank. He's always adding more. That's definitely a real demographic. And then this one just scares me really a lot, which is Plastic Penelope. And she's got all the hot pink trees and fake plants in her tank, and she is a creepy doll herself. So that's pretty cool. I got one more, but I'm not gonna open it live because I think it's gonna be repeats. But this is the collectible stickers in the form. They look like a little card game. Yeah, these are all stickers though, and they're cool. They look holographic, so they look like you got the good sticker. You know, in the pack back in the day when they used to, the holograph was like the fancy one or the one that you really wanted. But yeah. It's kind of cool. If you guys can think of more stereotypical fish keepers, I definitely think you could probably chime in and talk with him. Johnny Best, what's up? Alex was up, bro, all watching your old tutorials since you've been gone. Uh, well, I appreciate it. I haven't been gone so much. I mean, I've been a little less present because I haven't been feeling well. I've had an infection in my leg and I've been resting a lot. But we've done two live streams a week and we've averaged one video in the last week, which isn't many. But then before that, we had two new videos a week for the last 4 weeks. They just don't promote all my stuff. Steven, thank you so much, buddy. But I hear that a lot that people are like, dude, where have you been? Or it's so glad to have you back. And I'm like, I've been here. I've been here. Johnny, given gift memberships. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. And it looks like we got some well-deserving folks. We got D-Rock gets the membership. Lady Luck, Jesus or Jesus, whoever it is, Dr. Tracy and Cecil Mayberry all getting gifted memberships. That is so kind of you, Johnny, my man. I appreciate all your support. I really do, buddy. Um, but you guys go to the community tab. There's extra playlists, there's extra posts there, and there's a whole lot of members only content that is audio based. So there's 203 episodes, I believe, that are only audio based of older, like new science that's going on and all that kind of stuff. So you guys have access to that now. Plus, any posts that I posted that were a little too risque for the main channel or for open publishing, because I know they just take it down. Stuff like, when, for instance, fish change sex randomly, things like that. So, uh, have fun, enjoy. I need to start making more of that stuff, but I've been working on new merch at the request of a lot of y'all actually requested that. And the thing with the merch is all of the money from anything I sell merch wise, everything is marked up so that it's no more than 20% of it is profit for me, but it's actually that's money we use. And usually I'll let you know every 2 or 3 months because I sell such a low amount of merch, which is fine. I'm not begging, I'm not pandering trying to get everybody to buy merch. Like, don't worry about it. It's if you want it, it's there. If you don't worry about it. But that money goes, that profit, which is a limited amount of profit. But from like a hoodie, I'll make I think $7. From a t-shirt, I make $2 or $3. And then that money they pay out when it hits $100. And so it's not every month necessarily, but I try to pick every time I get a payout, I pick a different nonprofit like Shoal or Son of Running River or like the indigenous, the Salish salmon um, hatcheries groups, and like the Xingu River dam, the movement to stall some of that kind of stuff, things like that. So that's where that money goes, but it's nice to be able to kind of pick something. And if you guys ever see a nonprofit that you think is a good one, I have my own, and usually I'll announce if we're giving it to the Green Earth Alliance, which is the one that Ivan Mikolji and I started and have been running. And we finally have some money for it, which is great. We did a fundraiser at Sacramento Fish Club and raised a couple $1,000s there. And we right now are in the process of reintroducing the diamond tetra to Lake Valencia, which is the only lake or well, water system. It does go up into the streams around the lake, but the lake has no outflow other than to the ocean, and those fish can't take the salt water. So it's a rather curious situation where these fish evolved in the lake. And then at some point in the 80s, at 1986, a massive rain came and mud just washed through this tight point where a lot of the outflow goes from the main lake to kind of a wetland area where then it filters into other local areas, and people kind of have dug irrigation canals and things. But then there's a city on the other side of the lake, Valencia, and it's like, I think 2 million people, and it's gotten polluted since the 80s because there's a lot of very impoverished people living on the lake too. So there's all sorts of pollution and not the right infrastructure. But on the north side of the lake, northwest side of the lake, there's a there's a national park that's also protecting an oil pipeline pathway. And so even though it's strategically the Venezuelan government, protecting some oil reserve routes of how they'd pump it out to port, probably is likely why it's there. But the pipelines are in such disrepair that they're gone now, which is great. And so they may be rebuilt, they may not, but in the meantime, it's all preserved land that has been definitely like guarded by armed guards. And so it's pristine, which is great. And that's where Ivan and I have been able to find locally. We found an older man who had been keeping since the 60s, 70s, and 80s the diamond tetras that were native to the lake, and he'd been keeping them in filterless aquariums in his backyard and in his pool. And they ran the DNA on it, which cost about $500. We did a DNA test on it, had to ship that out of Venezuela, which is also a whole other thing, and found that the population is obviously they're very related to each other, the few that we sent. But beyond that, they're not. They've probably been separate from the ones that are in the hobby for something like 50 years, which is really interesting because what happened is that fish, they don't breed it in captivity a ton. There are some reports of them doing that and being able to make it profitable. But for the most part, what they've done is they've just let it go in the rivers in South America. So they took it to Colombia, they took it to Brazil, and they took it to Peru, and they just threw like 1,000 in at some spot, and hoped that they would survive. And they did. And now 15 or what, 30, actually 35 years later or more, they're still surviving. So that's how the rest of them basically went extinct in Lake Valencia and the creeks around there. The ones that survived the initial mudslide that were up in these shallow marshes and ponds and stuff out of the way of the mudslide that hit their spawning area, the shallows in the lake, they were then systematically kind of collected by people who then wanted to place them other places. So aquarium collectors, South American locals, did that, which keeps the species alive. So that's good. Let's see here. We got Angel in here now. What's up? We got DM Aquatics. What's going on? Longtime lurker. Outstanding info on fish. Keep it up in 2025. Thank you so much, DM. I really do appreciate that. That is a very generous super chat. I really do appreciate it. I used to average, and I just want to, I don't know what it is, if I used to be a much more regal looking young man. Maybe I used to be a lot sexier, that's it. But I used to make something like on average $500 to $1,000 in live stream tips or on video tips like the thanks or super thanks or whatever they call them. And not only has YouTube cut a lot more, like taken a bigger cut, which is unfortunate, they they don't like it'll circle the like, do you want to donate? Do you want to do a super chat? Only when you pay YouTube now. So if you pay them to promote your videos, then all of a sudden that kind of stuff does stand out to your average viewer because it has little animations or it even pops up with like a box on your screen. Do you want to subscribe? And if you don't, those things don't usually happen, which is quite interesting that YouTube is going down that route. But long story short, now it's less than 100 a month usually. And I'm not whining in the sense of like, oh, I can't live off of $100 super chats total a month. I mean, everybody's having a hard time economically. But it is a change in the landscape, and it's a reason, why Discord and why when you guys do actually, when someone does drop a super chat, I'm like, holy smokes, that is very, very helpful. I appreciate it. It goes definitely directly to the channel, whereas the Patreon, there's still a few people on Patreon, but most people prefer to be on Discord or a member here for $1.99 here or $2.99 on Discord. Discord has all the archives of my research too. As we're posting videos, more is going up in the documents section for members. Plus, I've asked some polls and some questions and stuff like that on what you guys want to see next on the channel. All that's involved with being even just for $2.99. All right, so I want to give you guys a sneak peek at the fish tank today. I've done a little more work on it. The one that we just moved, if you recall, we got the big old fish tank here. It's just overgrown and absurdly crazy with what's going on in it. Basically, what we're doing here is we are slowly removing all the floating plants, and we are taking cuttings from all of the hybrid plants that I've been growing and that I've created and that don't exist in other places, literally like anywhere else in the world. This hybrid, look at the rabbit ears, the size of these things. They've been growing, and these leaves are like over 1.5 feet long. This one's probably maybe almost 2 feet long. And so the hybrid plants, let's see here if we can also give you guys some examples of. So here we go. Here is the Bacopa colorata and Bacopa Monnieri cross. It's got like a nice kind of pink color with the green, which is cool. And then we've got the bigger size one, which is the colorata and Americana. And then where is the really purple one? That's the Salzmani and Bacopa Monieri. But I'm not seeing the. Oh, here we go. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. The very purpley ones. And I haven't been raising them in CO2, but that will get like a dark purple, which is pretty cool. But this, like I said, none of this is CO2 in here. And those are just floating. Also, we've got I've got some new snails in here. Fishcapades, what's going on? If you guys have any questions, just ask with my name, at my name, and I'll try to get to them. Aaron, what's up? Do more live chat viewers help the channel's stats? Definitely, Aaron, definitely. The thing is that, like, if you like the live stream, like right now we've got 44 likes and 80 people watching. If the ratio of people that have clicked like is high, they will then alert more of my subscribers. And for every subscriber they alert, or maybe it's like every 2 subscribers they alert like 1 non-subscriber. And if they come to watch, Then they'll alert another non-subscriber, and it's kind of like a snowball effect. So sometimes we've gotten up to like 1,000 people in a live stream, and it's because of, everybody is liking, subscribing, chatting, and whoever's watching it likes the thumbnail and hopped in or whatever. A high rate of those drive-by folks have done that. So here's the Salzmani and Monieri cross right here. It's nothing glamorous without CO2, but the purple you can see on the leaves pretty stand out. It's right around the edges. Whereas the Colorado crossed with the Salzmani or with the Monieri is a nice pink, like that one there, and the pink is kind of a uniform pink all the way through, like that, rather than just the edges. It's the whole leaf has an oddly pink and green color to it. And then you can see the size difference between the large Americana variety and Monieri cross, and the all the other crosses are much smaller. But then we've also got Ludwigia arcuata, and then mixed with Ludwigia Rubens, and you can see how red that arcuata gets, but even in non-CO2, which is pretty cool. So I'm proud of those things. Also, we got more shrimp in here because you remember all the fish went bye-bye. That stupid heater incident cooked them. And so in here, the survivors are basically the pencil fish, and then we put the little Endler guppy hybrids from this tank that was here into here, and we put the Pethia Gellus and Arcuatus in here, and there's a couple Amano, snow white Amanos or snowball Amanos that are from Aquatic Arts. They're only $6.99, guys, which is bonkers considering that's the price of their normal Amanos. I don't know where they're sourcing theirs, but everyone else is having to charge way more money. So I got to find out that interesting tidbit. And then over here, this tank is the fun tank, guys. This is the one that I love more than anything. Mandarin Gobi says, what tank for Kuli loaches and guppies are highly inbred that they will not survive less than a month when you get them from a big box store? Wait, what tank size for Kuli loaches? You could have 3 Kuli loaches in even like a 5-gallon tank, but for their own good, I would say a 20 long is the best tank because they like to, go quickly sideways, side to side every once in a while, and they do that at night. But they also like to go up and down. So even a 20 tall would work, but a 20 is a nice size. But you could keep them in a 10 or a 5 if you're really, really stuck. But I think the 20 size is really like perfect for most of them. Or a tank like this where it's like a 16.5 or whatever. It's like a bookshelf long rimless. And I think that works out pretty well too. For like, you could put them in there with a couple other little fish, like as long as you got plants, as long as you got lots of plants and some hiding spots still, I think you'd be fine. All right, let's see here. Wait, provide a nice big tank. Frontosas are less work than Oscars. Wow, I don't know. I think they're all a lot of work. I wouldn't try Frontosas yet, and I've been doing this for a long time. Every minute of vertical live streams count as shorts views minutes, not video minutes. Yeah, exactly, Cora, like what Cora's saying. So it's kind of weird. I need to stream the other way too again. And like I said, on Tuesdays, that's the day I tend to do that more. Or if I miss Tuesday due to health lately, I'll do that on the Wednesday to try to make up for it. But this tank here, we basically redid the whole thing, and I documented it, and I'll put that video out soonish. But what I want to do is right now I am floating some pots of Monte Carlo and letting the roots grow out a little bit with kind of high ferts, high light, and some CO2 running. It's very slow CO2. If you can see that, it's barely running. And basically, I'm letting it relax, and then I'm gonna tease it apart and use tweezers and my hands to tuck it back in. But we've also already put in a few more Pink Panther plants, and we put in the crazy plant that I already forget the name of. It's one I've never seen in the hobby before. The Paulus plant, I think, is what the genus is. But it's like a big, like red to colorful, like Joseph's amazing Technicolor dream coat type plant. So it looks kind of interesting. I've never kept that plant before, and I hope that it is in its aquatic form more than its land form, because that could be pretty cool underwater if it stays like that rather than being something more boring underwater in its aquatic form. So then we've got the yo-yo loaches, we've got the zebra or marbled autosynclus, got both those from Moonlight. We've got the firebar danios or the kyphit danios, whatever you want to call them. Some places are kind of switching up the names now, so I don't know what's up with that. And then we also have the gold, what do they call them? Now I'm trying to remember the name. Gold ring danios, which are the smaller little dotted ones without the kind of orange and bronze and copper color. And then we've also got some rainbow fish. We've got a trio of rainbow fish, Kalitawas, and then we've got 16 of the little Resbora hets, and then we've got the brand new panda loaches. These are the new species of panda loach. Super cool. Is this a normal? No. So the normal panda loach that you guys are probably familiar with, that is in the U.S. and has been in the hobby, looks like just black and white right here. They're adorable when they're young, but then they get more of like a yellow creamy color and kind of get a crisscross pattern on them. But what people didn't know at first, and now they're kind of learning, is that if you get some of these loaches from the farthest northern stream that has these loaches, some of them stay this color for much longer, and even close to their whole life, they have this marking. And that it seems to be a variation within the species. So these little guys do tend to have a little bit of gold in them, these ones that are from the far north, and they tend to have black in the tail, whereas the other ones either have a solid stripe or not. Like, see how its tail has like the black that goes into a wedge and then has dots on it? That's the northern variety that we knew about for the last few years of the little panda loaches. These are all the northern variety, and that means that they're going to stay this color and pattern a little longer. They won't be so crisscross. They will have more of a yellow or kind of a golden hue to them that shimmers when light hits them just right. But then this is totally new. So let's see if we can coax these guys out, because if you didn't see this the other day, you may not have ever seen these, because literally there's only one person in the US that is working on importing these guys. Where did he go? He literally just disappeared when I put the... Oh, he's down here, down hiding in the plants. Come on, buddy. Come on, little bud. Come on, little buddy. But we've also got these new panda loaches that are absolutely beautiful right here. And they are gold panda loaches, and supposedly they live their whole life with similar patterns to this. And they have stripes going the exact other way. So now there are three-ish panda loaches. You got the originals, then you got these ones with the weird tails that aren't a solid line with a straight ending. And then you got these golden ones. And they actually have a golden glow around the edge of them. You can see that golden glow, that hue that's kind of golden. And if you have them at the right angle, their fins are not totally clear. They're actually golden as well. So like in natural lighting, you can really see that. And then there's one that's facing upright. Let's see here. We can get him to come down. Come on down, little buddy. All right. So there's next to a mono shrimp. They're tiny, the babies are. But we also have, like, there is an adult. That's a full-grown adult. And they have a little more of the round. They have a little more of the round pectoral fins. See how big their pectoral fins are, their front ones? Those fins on either side, the big round ones. Well, they also have a set of fins right there on their tummy at their throat that act as a suction cup that they can hold on to waterfalls and things with. And most gobies have that. Even the panda loaches have that. It's called modified vertical paired fins or modified pectoral fins. But they have that. And these ones that are the long striped kind that don't look the same as your typical... There we go. Here's an adult for the world to see. They got yellow, or I mean, they've got actual golden eyes too. Come on. And then, yeah, the gold in their eyes is really prominent. And then their swim bladder is a bright silver or gold. So you can see that through them and it shimmers. I love these. I got these at Moonlight Aquatics. He brought them in because he has family in China. And they're absolutely beautiful. And he's only charging $20 for these guys. I mean, they're going for $100 in one spot in the UK. I think that's wild. Here's a blue Amano. And then we've got the yellow Amano. Aquatic Arts is just, you know, rocking it. They've also got the red Amano. That's not a Neocaridina or anything. That's just an Amano. And then we've got my Malawas. So this tank has been rocking and rolling. We've also got one more goby that's called a lentip or lentipus goby that's in here. And that's pretty much everybody after that. But you can see the Amanos in here are pretty numerous. And they're cleaning this wood to the point where I haven't had any of that slime coat growing on the wood. So that has made me a happy fish keeper. Also, we'll reveal the secret of this tank. So watch this, ladies and gentle spoons. So here you can see there's a bunch of shrimp and stuff in here. And they're hiding because, look at this. This is actually two completely separate pieces of wood, but there's one spike piece of wood right here. And then this is a curlicue that's hollow. And if I do it just right, and I lock it in, and then turn it right at the right position, there we go, it'll stay. And I just happened to find those two separate pieces in separate piles of wood and locked them together. One thing that I'm not liking, though, is that this is always so dry and startling, like that it's dry, compared to the wetness. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know if I should shellac it or, you know, like make it look wet or just shut up and, you know, ignore it. Okay, guys, sorry I haven't been checking on the chat. Let me check on the chat. Chickadee check on the chat. And, sorry about that, guys. Ossia says, I just moved 5 Cully loaches from quarantine to their new home. Right on. Can't have it empty for the bacteria. Yep. Split. What part? Oh, okay, never mind. Wicked freaking Aquatics. Are you from Boston? I got some of those yellow Amanos. One's prego is going to be silly and try to raise the babies. They're so yellow, big, always busy munching. Yeah, totally wicked. They are, you know, they could have babies, but the babies can only grow up in salt water that has all the plankton and microscopic organisms that are needed for them to feed. Now, there's also Malaysian trumpet snails in here, and oh, there's our goby. I was wondering where he was. Our beautiful lentipus exodon, I think its name is, which is confusing because I think of pufferfish when I hear that. But it's got this beautiful powder blue, like tribal pattern on its head, and then it's got two fins on its back that it can put up and it can display them. Let's see if we can get it maybe to swim. I'll zoom out so we can see if I get it to swim here. Oh, too fast for us. There it goes. But absolutely a beautiful fish right there, kind of fighting with the little loaches. But look at that. Look at that beautiful. That's also at Moonlight Aquatics. So if you guys didn't catch the news, I'll say it. I'll says it one more time for you. Boy, my hat's falling off. I'll says it one more time for you, which is you can use the Fishery10 code at moonlightaquatics.com. Buy a gift card for 10% off. Then use that gift card anytime in the next year or two or whatever, and use the code again, Fishery10, and you'll get another 10% off. So you're literally getting a gift card that gets you 20% off, or basically you're buying a $100 gift card for $80 or a $50 gift card for $40. Wait, is that right? Yeah, for $40. So pretty wild. Let's see here. What types of snails that live in your heavily planted tank? I always keep Malaysian trumpet snails in my heavily planted tanks to churn and mix up the substrates and the aqua soils. And then I usually keep 2 or 3 neorites at least, so that they are basically working to eat the hard kind of powdery algae that gets encrusted on the glass and on rocks, depending on if I have a bunch of gobies in the tank or not, because they like biofilm and they like that hard algae. Even if they don't eat that hard algae, they like to graze on the biofilm and the bacteria and the fungi that does live on that. And so they like to live together for sure. And I actually had a realization that was something I kind of didn't like. It didn't even cross my mind until I was staring at it, watching it happen. And I was watching one of the neorites eat in that tank that we were just looking at, eat the the rock the panda loach was on. And it ate a line across the rock perfectly. Like, you could see that it was eating like a little, their mouth usually makes a little zigzag pattern, and so you see this little like unstable line, a little zigzag line that goes across the rock or glass, and a lot of times they're just zipping all over, no rhyme or reason. And they're about a centimeter wide, or at most maybe half a centimeter wide, depending on the nearite. And the little panda snail, or panda loach, sorry guys, the little panda loach didn't want to eat there. It skipped it. It swam over where the snail had just been. So it wasn't grazing on the algae or the biofilm or the aufoops there. And so I just realized, like, maybe too many snails is not good if you're trying to raise gobies and loaches and things like that. So something to think about, if you need to leave them the food. Beantown, baby, right on. Oh yeah, Winchester, Kentucky for darters. You have it made in Kentucky for darters. Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, the Cahaba River. Whew. Oh yeah, you've got mud skippers that do a similar display to that little goby I have. Question: how often do you water change and do you vacuum tube clean substrate? So that's a really good question. It's changed a lot over my fish keeping hobby. Right now, I just vacuumed that tank we were looking at a whole bunch because I am trying to kind of reset everything. I'm in the process of resetting a bunch of tanks. Some of them went bad because the power went out, and then the heat came back on, and they went from cold to too hot, and it shocked the fish, or it didn't. The heater didn't come back on. All sorts of problems happened within the tanks, and so about a quarter of my 28 fish tanks either crashed or were cold and ended up having a few deaths, or then they got ick, whatever. But if you look at my tanks here, this one is around 7 or 8 years old now. And then here, by the way, is one of those Valencia Diamond tetras. They should be seafoam green on the body with a violet finnage, ideally, and a very, very hot pink eyelid. And they should just be absolutely radiant in your tank. They're a beautiful fish that is very overlooked. And that's them full grown, so they don't get huge. They get maybe 2.5 inches. They're not teeny tiny little tetras, but so here I've cleaned up this substrate. So you can see this is what a substrate that was cleaned very thoroughly looks like right along here. And versus how I kept it for years with the little snails and little micro crustaceans and stuff that I keep, it looks more like this. You can see there's this fluffy layer of mulm and debris in the moss. And if I were to move this, it would get all, well, hell, I'll move it right now anyways. Like, why not? If I move it, it kicks up a lot of dust, debris, and stuff like that. So let's take a look over here. Like, see all the little stuff floating around? That's all part of this mulm. And it falls and then compresses into layers. And slowly, the animals, brownie in motion, everything, you know, currents in the tank, you name it, plant roots, the Malaysian trumpet snails, fish, neorites, whatever it may be, do a number on it, bacteria, fungi, and it stratifies as these dense layers. And there's no oxygen below the orange layers. So up here you can see where the layers are really thick and there's a lot of mulm, meaning a lot of fish poo, broken down, leftover food, moss and plants that have just kind of died and fallen to the bottom, you know, snail shells, everything. When that doesn't get taken care of, it turns into this kind of big, mucky, dusty layer that can kind of be bad looking. But if you clean it all up, you see aqua soil underneath it. So it's pretty fluffy still. Whereas this tank, if you watch my channel, you can go back to live streams anytime before November, and you'll see this tank was in the fish room, and it had hair grass like this tall all across it, and I totally redid it. And I'm gonna show that process. I have documented that whole thing, so you'll be able to see it. But let's because this issue is near and dear to my heart. So those are tanks where I have been keeping up with taking care of that stuff. Now, a tank that has never had that done, here's an example of that. Like, I've never cleaned the bottom of this tank. We might need a light to just, here, let's just take this light real quick and shine it up here. But I've never cleaned the bottom here, and there's cyanobacteria that stays in the bottom. It stays in its lane. It doesn't come up. And there's all this silt and broken down fish poo and waste, and that forms a layer that oxygen cannot get through, even in the water, even bonded to iron at a certain point. And so you get the rust layer usually. But this tank has a lot of snails in it, like a whole lot of snails in it. And so it actually has a little bit more going on in the substrate as far as like the snails moving it around. Also, there's loaches in this tank, and so those really move around a lot. But you can see how many snails were in here, and that's with the lights on. When the lights are off, they just come out of the woodwork, the Malaysian trumpet snails. And over here, This was another old tank. This is another 10-year-old tank, and it hasn't been taken care of a whole lot in the substrate. And you can see that what happens here, it really depends on the cleanup crew, how many shrimp you have, what kind of fish you have, and what kind of food you're feeding. This tank has so much algae and plants and stone and stuff that I've been able to release scuds, daphnia, and seed shrimp and stuff like that in here. And that stuff roams around, and the kind of fish that are in here enjoy eating that. And so therefore I don't need to like suction up nearly as much in this tank. They're all kind of quick moving little fish, and they do a really good job of eating the leftover food. Now another tank that I have to use I use a turkey baster, and I use it pretty much every day, if not every other day, is this tank here, which has a bunch of rainbow fish in it, like a whole lot of rainbow fish. There's 5 species of small rainbow fish. I need to scrape the glass. It's got a lot of algae on it right now. But in here, you can see the fish waste. And what I do is I take a turkey baster and I literally just suck it up. And then I put it up here in these tanks. And then in these tanks, I grab scuds. So if you haven't seen this before, I do this a lot on this channel, but it's because I feed this tank totally live food. And so this tank, even though it gets all live food, it has snails, yada yada, it doesn't have deep substrate, and it has fish that hang out near the top that are kind of messy. You know, even though there are some like very cool bottom dwelling gobies in here, and there are these guys in here, the apistos, they don't really clean they don't deep clean the tank. And so I'm always having to go around the rocks and the little nooks and crannies where the current leaves the fish waste. But by not feeding this tank flake food and stuff most of the time, or hardly ever, I can definitely keep that to a minimum and then just spot vac it in about 5 to 10 minutes. Like, literally, I'm doing this one-handed and I'm talking and I'm thinking and doing other stuff, but like, I'm almost done. And then I literally am just topping off evaporation in these tanks. And then I'll show you guys in a sec. These tanks, I'm sure if you've already seen this, you're bored, I'm sorry. But these tanks have all sorts of live critters in them that I feed to the fish. And specifically every night, for every water that I squirt in, and then there's like also single-celled organisms, infusoria. The isopod tank, look at this, guys. So check out how dirty and messed up the scud tank is, right? Pretty messy, lots of like fungus and just like floaties and stuff. The isopod tank was like the messiest of all, and now the isopods have cleaned up this tank so that it's just the roots from above coming down. The isopods have cleaned that entire tank in 2 or 3 weeks. They've cleaned it up like incredibly. So I have to say that the aquatic isopods are like some next level fish tank helpers that we're gonna have to revisit, and I'm gonna have to do like a comparison on one of these tanks of how effective like 50 of them could be if there's no fish hunting them down. They can be really effective. So here, one of the next plans is to take this tank, put it over here, a 65 gallon, and deck it out as probably a Venezuelan or Guion and Shield biotope is probably what I'm thinking. And then I'm going to take this tank here and this tank here, these rimless tanks, and I think I'm going to do them side by side here and move that tank into the spot right here. Where those tanks are now. I think that's the plan, and then we'll put up a couple more nano tanks for breeding fish. that way we'll get to aquascape a few more tanks. We can have a couple experiment tanks, and in the year 25, in the year 2025, I think that song is in the year 2525. But anyways, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just ignore me. But the stuff that we'll be working on in the next year, there's a lot of interesting projects that I think we could be doing. Mick M, what's up? Andrew Fishman. Let's see here. I'm just looking if there's any questions I missed that are recent. Sorry guys if I did miss them. Alex, do you ever get white mold on your botanicals? And is it a problem? Yes, I do get that white mold a lot. It is a fungus usually in the water, and it's called white rot or white water rot. A lot of times, like in boat building, wooden boat building. I met a boat builder in Seattle, which has a lot of wooden boat building going on and historical boat, fixing up, but restoration, that's the word I was looking for. But yeah, it's very common, and it also purple, like a very almost this color, almost like or all the way to like what you think of as like a normal deep purple color can show up in wood, especially white woods that are underwater. And what it is it's the tannins reacting with the bacteria and fungi that's in there, and they're releasing the chemicals from the wood, literally busting cells open in the wood, and they're a lot of anthocyanin and antioxidants and things like that in the wood and in the tannins, and that's why botanicals and wood and stuff like that can be so helpful. But it's fascinating to see like that color was hiding there all along. The white though is the lignin and the cellulose and any sort of like chitin in the bacteria or in the microorganisms, the aufoops that live on the surface. They create this biofilm, and it's usually a foggy white color, and it's that white water mold as they call it. But it's really a fungus, and a lot of times it has yeast components, and it also has bacterial and archaea components as well. And snails, live bear fish, small cichlids, they love it. Plecos generally like it too. Joey Lowell says, question, if I do a water change of 50% each week in a 10-gallon full of guppies and platies, is that good or bad? And I also add stress zyme after the water change. I don't know if stress zyme does anything. Aloe vera is something that's soothing when you already have wounds or ick present on a fish. It does seem to stop them from scratching the wounds against something sharp like a rock or decor in the tank, the gravel at the bottom, which sometimes they'll do, which is called flashing. They'll turn sideways and they'll make a run at it and rub themselves along things, and they can really hurt themselves more doing that. And so aloe vera is really good for that. If you already have ick, the white spot disease on the fish, or like velvet or a fuzzy looking bacterial or fungal infection that's really irritating to the fish, or a bacterial infection for that matter, then I could see using it. Also, you want to drop the acidity, so using catappa leaves or alder cones or guava fruit or maple leaves. There's all sorts of botanicals out there you can use. There's probably a free one in your area somewhere, but yeah, you can put that in the water, and then the fish, it'll soothe them if they're already sick. If they're not sick though, is it helpful? Probably a little bit preventive, but it's not like crucial. So I wouldn't worry too much about that factor if they're not already sick. Maybe if you're quarantining them, maybe I would just leave some in there. Now, if you want to do a 50% water change, that's great. If you want to do a 100% water change a day, that's fine too. But you're going to need to match the parameters in the tank to not shock the fish or stress the fish. Some fish might be in a tank full of nitrates that is built up because there's way too many fish and not enough filtration or not enough biofilm and area and algae to consume those extra nitrates and nitrites and even ammonia. And in those tanks, your cycle is not properly functioning anyways. And so you can replace all the water in there and your fish are going to feel better. But if you have a tank where the fish are already healthy and doing well, maybe they're even like spawning, having babies and things like that, or there are babies in there, or maybe it's even like a shrimp tank where they're very temperamental, like Caridina shrimp anyways, about changing the TDS and the KH and the GH. And that is why we remineralize RO or distilled water. You start with nothing in the water, 7.0. And if you just left 7.0 water, neutral water in a bucket in a room, it will start dropping down to about 5 or maybe even 4.5 pH because it ionizes the water. And when you have something in there to buffer it, then it lends stability. It buffers the water. So the hydrogen doesn't break from the oxygen and the hydrogen doesn't off gas as an element, nor does the oxygen and bond with other things. Outside of the bucket, it bonds with the salts and or sulfur compounds. The sulfur salts of like dechlorinators do it a little bit, but also in KH, so stuff like crushed coral, stuff like cuttlefish bone, stuff like bone or crushed snail shells, things like that. Even eggshells, if you boil them, you don't have to boil them, I suppose, but probably a better idea not to introduce a bunch of protein and more bacteria and stuff that's an unknown question mark. But guys, let's wrap up the questions here. I think my wife and I are gonna get to dinner pretty soon. It's been over an hour. I really appreciate y'all coming out and hitting that like button. Thank you so much for the super chats and the gifted memberships. That is so thoughtful to give the gift to others. Okay. I was gonna do a giveaway, but I just realized we don't have the. Oh, I can do it. Whatever. Let's do it. Let's give away $100, you guys. If you're in the United States, let's give $100 to Moonlight Aquatics. That's my apology for not answering all the questions. If you're out of the country, let me figure something out. Or you can gift it to somebody in the US if you want. But I feel like you should still get something. Like maybe I can fork over like $50 on, to your local pet store in your country, and I can just send you the money and you go buy whatever you want with it. You go buy drugs with it. I don't care. So I didn't say that. That was a joke. So let's do this. I'm gonna have to tell you guys a random number, and you're gonna have to like watch the computer when I show you. But we're gonna say in a minute here, I'm gonna say start, and when I say start and put my thumbs up, everybody is going to enter a number between 1 and 100. If someone else enters that number, don't use it. They've already got it. The first person to post that number gets to use it, and whoever is the closest without going over is going to win that gift card. And you just need to email me at alexanderwilliamson@gmail.com. Alexander J. Williamson. Sorry, guys. Alexander J. Williamson. The info is in my profile. I think it's in the description of most videos as well. But yeah, so I'm going to say start in a minute, and you guys have to guess a number between 1 and 100, and then I'm going to say stop, and then we can't have any more numbers after that, and I will hit the random number thing. I will show on the phone live what they are, and then whoever's closest without going over gets the $100 towards Moonlight Aquatics, which actually, if you use my code for checkout, might end up being $120, I guess, if you're buying the, yeah. So, yes, let's give this a go though. So, I'm gonna say start. Type in a number between 1 and 100, and if someone else has already said it, don't use it. Pick a different number. If you see that someone else has already put that number in, pick a different number that you haven't seen posted because we'll have to go back and check it. And in a few moments here, I'm gonna say uh, stop, and then I will put my hands out. I will give you 10 digits, and I will say stop. So it's up to you guys to help me, and we'll have a consensus of who picked what number. But get those numbers between 1 and 100. Can't be a number that's already in the chat. And in a moment here, I'm going to say stop. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. So stop right there at Mick at his 71. Actually, right there at 2025. That's where we'll put it. Another Z will have the last call on that. So another Z, your 2025 LOL. That's going to be the last number. So let's randomly generate a number here, and then we'll go through the chat and see who won. All right, so let's turn this around. Turn it around. All right. So all I have to do is click generate, y'all. Generate 47. Who's got 47? 47. Lucky number 47. Do we have a 47 right on the money or somewhere close to it? Let's see here. 47. Looking for 47. Looking for 47. Looking for 47. Not seeing a 47. So who's next? 46? We have a 46? I thought I saw 46. Am I crazy? 43. Free thinker. 40. 42. 44. Is 44 the closest? Pile, you just missed a giveaway, but there will be more before Christmas is over, or before the New Year's is over. My live streams, I will be doing more giveaways. I promise you that. But we're doing $100 to Moonlight Aquatics. Just go to moonlightaquatics.com and check them out. Use the code FISHTERY10 for 10% off anytime. Buy their gift card for 10% off, and then use that code again when you use the gift card. You'll get total of 20% off. So that's $120 value. Well, really, that's an $80. You're paying $80 for a $100 gift card. That's quite the deal when the guy already has crazy low prices. So I think Elaine at 44 might actually be the winner. And she got it. Oh, is Amber at 44? Let's see here. Amber, where were you? Amber. Yeah, Amber. I think Amber is the winner. All right, so Amber, congratulations. You will get a $100 gift card. So message me, and just that's at Alexander J. Williamson at gmail.com. No dashes or dots in between. That's just Alexander J. Williamson at gmail.com. And just say Amber or Moonlight winner, and I'll get your info and we'll get you a gift card. You're in the U.S., yeah? You never win anything. Well, you're winning stuff now. Hang out on this channel. Nobody... No, you few who are always here, you have a high chance of winning things. Like, the people who are loyal to this channel, a lot of them over the years, pretty much everyone who's been here for like 5 years has won $100 towards a fish shop at some point. It's pretty wild. And if you haven't, you sure do. And so we've got a couple more giveaways before the end of the year. Definitely more more gift cards. We might have some actual cash giveaways for people outside the US and for people who are watching, like, not live but actual videos. That's a maybe. I'm still working on, like, Fluval saying they'll send an FX filter to somebody. That's something that's been a back and forth, and I've been trying and trying and trying. uh, yeah, Elaine picked 44 as well, but Elaine did it after Amber already did. And I said that, yeah, first to post the number and you got to check your own work. So, unfortunately, while they were a good choice, that was also somebody who was included at the last second out of kindness, just, even though I'd already said stop because I know the computers are glitchy. But being that someone else said it first, it really goes to the first person there. I might have done a Rochambeau or a redraw if that weren't the case, but yeah. So get a hold of me or Facebook message me too. That works. I'm never on Instagram Messenger. I have like thousands of unreplied messages on there, and I'll never get through them. Same with TikTok. Never gonna do it. Sorry. But in the comments in YouTube, I check those a lot, and obviously my email I will get 100%. So hit me up there. All right, you guys, I am going to call it a night for now, but hopefully we'll do another stream before even Tuesday. Maybe we'll do another one because that's New Year's Eve, and I have more things I want to give out. So hopefully Monday I'll have another stream for y'all, or maybe Sunday. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you for being you. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa. I don't know if that's actually going on now. You don't know either. No one here knows. And I will see everybody next time I stream. I'm going to surprise you. So tune in, win some stuff. Like tonight. It was totally random. All right, you guys. Take care and much love. Thanks for being here. Show up, win stuff. Bye, guys.